How do you find a genuinely good marriage counselor who's going to help you and not make things worse instead of better? Let's talk about how to find the right couples counselor who can guide you and your partner out of a negative relationship cycle and back to the kind of relationship that you both want to be in. So, if you have been feeling like your relationship is beyond repair, first of all, I want to reassure you that it might not be. Just because you don't know how to fix your relationship does not mean it's not fixable, but it is very likely, if this has been going on for a while and it's feeling really bad, that you're going to need some help to turn things around. And that's what we're talking about here, is how to find that help in the form of a good marriage counselor or couples therapist. Now, it's really important to know that not all therapists are trained equally, especially when it comes to couples and family therapy. I say this as I'm a licensed mental health professional, and I have 2 licenses. I am a licensed psychologist, which, trained me to do a lot of things, but it did not train me to be a good couples counselor. I have a different degree that made me what I think is an okay couples counselor, and that was a degree in marriage and family therapy, and it's a totally separate professional licensure. And it's really important to know that, because in my experience, many therapists will hang a shingle, and they have been, they're a licensed psychologist or they're a licensed clinical social worker, something of that nature, and they are offering their services as being a good couples counselor, meaning that they are willing to see couples. This is where it gets really dicey, because in my experience, and through no fault of their own, right? I mean, they mean well, but they don't have the education, the very specific type of training, the supervision experience, the knowledge base, the skill set to work really effectively with couples, particularly when it's like a Hail Mary pass kind of situation, because date nights are not going to cut it. And if your relationship is really in trouble, you need to find someone who knows what they are doing. And so what this is, you need to look for a licensed marriage and family therapist, or LMFT is the acronym. These are the therapists, generally speaking. Oddly enough, not always this in California, but an LMFT who is also a certified coach who practices relationship coaching is going to be a true powerhouse. These are therapists who are specifically trained in the couples and family dynamics, systemic relational dynamics, which is very, very different than individual therapy or mental health treatment. They understand the complexities of relationships, but because they have a coaching background, they are very focused on, okay, what do we need to be thinking, feeling, and doing differently in order to get you better results in your relationship? They're very focused on outcomes. I have a coaching background as well. Did all the degrees, all the training, all the licenses, but I struggled because my traditional mental health focused training, even with couples therapy, did not prepare me to work really effectively with high functioning people who did not have diagnoses, but who really wanted to improve their relationships. I had to do a deep dive into coaching psychology in order to develop the skill set that really helped me help people move this forward effectively, as opposed to turning into, talking about things in the room. The other thing, in addition to this, is that I, like many other MFTs and coaching psychologists, use evidence-based practices, tying it in with an LMFT background, certified coaching background, and evidence-based practices that research shows can help you get results in your relationship. So modalities like emotionally focused couples therapy, the Gottman method, weaving this into a coaching psychology type approach is very, very powerful. But what is even more important than this is that you want to make sure that you are working with a therapist who not just uses evidence-based practices, but knows how to utilize the relational dynamic and control it. Because if you have been in a situation where it feels like your relationship is truly on the brink, communication is often feeling so difficult. There's a lot of reactivity, there's a lot of big emotions, and an experienced therapist will be able to stop that dynamic. They won't just let you vent or go back and forth blaming each other. They're going to give you tools and strategies to break out of these toxic communication cycles and start rebuilding trust. So it is not going to be just sitting in somebody's office and rehashing the same old argument. It's really going to be going deep into what is happening and being able to stop the madness. So MFTs, a good MFT can be hard to find, but take your time and do it because it matters. And if there's any way you can connect with a marriage and family therapist who is also a certified coach like me, like the other clinicians at Growing Self, this is the type of professional that is there to help you grow and evolve, learn how to do things differently in order to create different outcomes. They will hold you accountable. Personal responsibility is a big part of this. And they're not just here to diagnose mental health conditions and be focused on psychopathology. They're focused on helping you both develop the new communication patterns and behaviors. So communication is hugely important. If you want to get a jump start on some of these communication strategies that will put you in a good place to be able to do this work, I do have another free resource for you. You can come to growingself.com, and because communication issues are so common, they're so important, I actually put together a free 2-part training. So it's actually 2 45-minute long video-based sessions with me, a big workbook that you can download that walks you through all kinds of different activities. This is part of the communication repair, communication that connects program that I offer at my practice, Growing Self. But this is a totally free resource for you that will give you, again, visibility into what's going on, and it will begin to teach you some of the new ideas and the new strategies that you can deploy to reduce the harm, the toxicity that might be happening in your relationship right now. And it will begin to build this foundation of understanding, like, okay, what do we need to be doing differently in terms of our communication in order to get better results with each other? And then you can use this foundation when you do connect with a marriage and family therapist with a coaching background who can then take it from there. But again, just please, if you take anything else from this series, it is really important to know that when your relationship has been very strained for a long time, when communication feels impossible, when it feels like the same problems are just happening over and over again, and even when you try to make things better, it's like your partner still reacts to you in this really negative way, that is a sign that it's really time to get help. So do not wait. Do not make excuses. You can wait too long. Unfortunately, a lot of people do, and you deserve better. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and I have so many more resources for you. Come to my website, growingself.com. Check out the blog and podcast. If you tap into the Love Collection, you'll get a ton of relationship advice. Tune into my live streams every Thursday. You can do /Dear Lisa to ask me a question in advance, and follow me to connect. Get notifications about my live streams and upcoming podcasts, because I'm here for you.